Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
drivers that are outside looking in. We got some drivers that are inside that hopefully they don't get knocked outside. So it's going to be a close one here tonight. We also got some other battles, but Caleb, should be a good one.
Yeah, it should be. Just pointing it out right now, we have Eric Anderson on pole and Jordan Trapp beside him. You remember that Best of the Rest championship we were talking about,
Yes.
a few weeks. We were down to the final two matchups before the final next weekend, Final Four. So it's Jamie Horn versus Evan Kinney, and we have Eric Anderson versus Jordan Trask, which is our front row. So already we got some heat starting off. And our points coming into this race, it's pretty close. You have Lane Holsler, dominant all season. He's already locked in next weekend for the championship race at Homestead. But you have Altus, who is the leader, on points at the moment. And then you have Grant -2, Tatum -6, and then you have Carey, who is in that 5th spot looking in. And we don't have Honeycutt or Sherwood here tonight. So it is. So we have 4 drivers looking for 3 spots tonight, and they're all within 12 points of each other. So it's gonna be pretty heated tonight. 29 drivers here.
Just got some more like Jamie.
He did it.
Dark.
He may even
Unless he's
start.
in the pits. Unless he's in the pits, it's going to start in the pits, but it's going to put him in a hole.
Well, okay. So one thing I will say, and I was able to run a few laps for in the practice session with everyone, and the first 3 laps, this truck is unstable. It is very loose. The back end just kind of wants to pick out from underneath you, and that turn 2 ball will catch up to you real quick. But as the run progresses, that right front and that right rear is starting to tighten up on you. So I think these drivers kind of need to just settle in the beginning, and then something we've seen in the past few mile-and-a-half races, picking off one by one. So we'll see how that happens as the race progresses. But Eric Anderson on pole, gonna lead us to green.
It is, right like you said, Eric Anderson, man. We'll maybe try to end this season here with a win. Race trucks in, we're going green here tonight. It's going to be a good one here. Like I said, one more race, and we're going to crown 4 drivers. Atlanta here tonight, bumpy style track. We'll see how it plays out. Jordan Trask and company, that's green flag flies. We're racing Atlanta.
Yeah, and already off to a very hot start. Eric Anderson out front, 1 car length. This is exactly what he needed. Oh, we got 1 loose on the back, coming off of 2. I don't know if he saved it. Oh. He's missed the left front fender there.
Yes.
Oh man, that is.
Back and maybe what?
That is 2. I think that's Jacob Grant behind him.
Back here and rewind a little bit. Oh, he just lost it. Turn it like boom, hard in the wall.
Yeah, and that's actually gonna kill the toe in the car, because now that it's loose. You can see it wobbling. Yeah, and he's down pit road. I think that's gonna end his night right there.
Tough. We'll still put Eric Anderson out front. He's got a pretty good lead, but you can chew these tires off, so he might want to hold up just a little bit. He's probably trying to see what he can do out front. Kenny right there in second. Lane Hoosler, I tell you what, Lane's just looking like, there's just going to be no doubt about it. I'm going to just win everything and forget about it. I'm getting up here dominating. I remember last year dominating, got to the Final Four, and then late caution kind of just turned it upside down for him, and Altus came up there and stole that championship from him.
Yeah, that was his 2nd championship, that Altus. So he's looking for his 3rd win this year. We have a bunch of past champions that are currently fighting for their another one. So you know, Altus looking for his third. Bosler, he's a multi-time champion. Grant, he's looking for his second one. Tatum, you know, he's a rookie this season. 3 wide on the front. They're getting Altus early right there.
Up this track, and you see how loose he is in the middle. Really hard to keep that thing. That truck's just going to bounce back and forth there. It's actually Trask who was caught for a moment. I think they got that thing settled out, Pursley there, but yeah, 3 wide, kind of treacherous.
Yeah, and especially on a track like this, you know, this track eats tires up. You know, since the repave, you know, it's a completely different track. This is the old variation. This is the '08 version of the track. So you know, very hard surface, very old surface. Really eats up the tires. So you got to be very careful in how you drive the truck. You know, you want to be very gentle with it. You know, you don't want to be cranking on the steering wheel. You know, you got to be, you know, kind of like when we were riding on board with Lane the other week, and he was, you know, kind of, you know, gently turning the steering wheel, and then, you know, we were kind of riding on board with Honeycutt. You kind of see him sawing on it. You want to be gentle with it and kind of save your right front, especially on a track like this.
Absolutely, dude. I agree with you there. We'll ride around some of these guys here as the tires, man, kind of wear off. You'll see that these guys will have to be, but look at this. Lane Hoosler has run down the leader. Eric Anderson got a pretty good lead out front, but it's easy to do when you're out there, just kind of just ride and overdrive the truck a little bit. Comes Lane. He's the one that feeds some. Got Kenny there with him. Trask, Pursley, Clark, Bell, Tatum, Altus, Ghost out here, top 10. Somebody kind of single file. That's kind of usually what we're going to see. Single file, then you'll see somebody make a slip, and then have some side by sides. You go back Peterson, back again.
Yeah, you know, he's been kind of off and on this season. You know, like real life. You know, the virtual world has its set of problems. You know, last week we seen Smith out with a pedal issue. You know, Peterson, you know, is having internet issues. You know, stuff happens on the virtual side just like real life. So, you know, hopefully he can finish the race tonight. You know, it's happy to have him back. One person I would like to talk about, he's one of our playoff contenders, and this could really hurt his chances here. Jacob Grant's minus 10 on the start. You know, we've seen him slide behind Spinelli there, Alpha Turn 2 in the beginning. But he's minus 10 and 19th right now. This is really going to hurt him, considering that everyone else he's fighting is in, you know, several places in front.
Yeah,
you know, you have
Grant.
Grant in 19.
Yeah, he's like 19. Yeah, he's lost 10 spots for some reason. You know, go back to what you were saying earlier there. That's real easy to do on a track like this. I mean, this track, even with being as abrasive as it is, it's still a momentum style track. It's just the bumps don't help that momentum to can throw the truck around. Unfortunately, he's lost some spots. Like I said, 10 positions.
Yeah, especially when, you know, he's only +8 on the cut line. So, you know, he's really got to hammer home here. You know, he's got to get past his teammate and lead owner Chris Smith. You know, I think he's going to let him go here. You know, kind of let him. He needs all the points he can get. I think they know that. But we got a yellow out.
Well, we'll see where it's at.
Yeah, he is definitely backwards.
Wrong way. Oh, just got a little clip there. Him and the other truck got together. He's going, he's trying to do way around the track.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if that's the fastest way.
You know, that's just two trucks fighting for the same piece of real estate on the racetrack. You know, and that's another problem zone I've mentioned on the racetrack. You know, the exit of turn 2, it comes up on you quick, and a lot of these drivers, you know, you'll hammer down on the throttle midway through the corner, think you can make it, and then boom, there's a wall or there's a truck up there. You know, and I think that's kind of a situation like we just saw.
And unfortunately puts us under caution here tonight. Atlanta style here, the old style Atlanta, so it's really bumpy, not the smooth one here. It looks like a lot of these guys are going to come in for pit stops, which, you know, it's not too bad because we are sitting at around lap 13 now. It's about the time we start seeing the tires fall off a little bit. They'll last up around 10, 15 laps or so, but that, you start feeling a little wear in the truck at this point. A lot of guys opting not to. So it's kind of curious, or it's interesting. Not curious, but it's interesting that some come in and some don't, especially as the race of it.
When you're in the positions of a Lane Holzer and Evan Kinney, we've seen them win races this season, because they're so good at saving tires and all that. And, albeit we do have 4 extra sets of tires in the pits, I think these drivers are looking for track position. Because like you were mentioning earlier, it is a momentum style track, especially with the bumps and all of that. These trucks are very aero dependent. So it is a very momentum style track. And the tires were easily here. So with them going back, Eric Anderson lost 11 spots. He's in 12th right now. He was our leader going into that caution. So if he can get back to lane, that's good. He's back in the spot he was in. But I think it's going to be very challenging for him to get his way back up there, especially with the caliber of drivers we have up in the front right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the tires will help him, but you definitely just don't want to blow them off trying to get up through the front. I mean, that happening. Dusty out there, he has a fan club. Dusty Martin's here. We'll look at that, unfortunately, back here in 25. But he's got time to get back up to the front. It's almost like we were talking about with Jacob Grant, who was back there in 15. Got a little time to get back up to the front. Got to pace yourself. Get there and get going. So it's good to see fan club. I know we got some other drivers out there. A lot of their fan club out there too. Red back here.
I say you gotta shout out Fred on the broadcast.
Right there, you got a jiu-jitsu truck. I don't know if I want to mess with Fred because he probably karate chopped me or something.
Maybe.
Good guy coming out here. Got a lot of good looking little trucks out here tonight, but it has been this man's season. I mean, Lane Hosler, and the only thing that would actually make it even better is for him to win a championship, and then he could pretty much just call himself the Superman of the Clean Racing League for this season, because he has dominated pretty much throughout the regular season and so far in the playoffs. But as we've seen before, you have still got to make it through that last race, even making it to the Final Four. And last season, as dominant as he was, didn't all work out.
Yeah, and so this is one of the most, playing up on what you said, one of the most dominant performances we've seen from a driver since the format change in this league. Before, the first 20 seasons or 19 seasons, it was points based. So as long as you showed up, got good points, the points carried on for 10 races. And it was the chase style. Well, since we've had the format change the past 2 seasons, this is quite possibly one of the most dominant performances we've seen from a driver. If he can win the championship, he's already locked in. If he can win the championship, this could be the year, and I don't think we'll see it replicated for seasons to come.
It'll be a while, not taking anything away from anyone else. Pace truck's in. Here we go. Green flag. Hoosland Company gets back on it. As you see Trask there with Kenny and company. Right behind him, there guys are going to be doing 3 wide back here. Be careful doing that on a track like this, though.
Yeah, and you can
that's
see
why. Yeah, hang on to it, man. I'm gonna tell you what a save. That's gonna be the save of the night. Unfortunately, though, Altus is gonna pay a price on that one. But man, I tell you what, Caleb, hats off to those 2 drivers, because that could have been disastrous.
Yeah, and it was a little bit of a bubble between both the drivers. There was very tight racing. It happens in the virtual world. But however, it's very fortunate that a wreck did not happen. Very tight racing with Percy there in the middle now. But had he collected Altus, that would have eliminated Altus from playoff or championship contention. without a doubt. He is only plus what, plus 8? No, plus 10. I'm sorry. He's only plus 10. So that would have the cut line.
But I mean, who's behind you?
You got Grant -2 and Tatum -6. No, I'm sorry. That's 8. I'm sorry. My bad.
Okay. Yeah, it would have been disastrous, like you said. I mean, and that's what Altus is going to have to think about now as he comes up through the field. Track here though is kind of, unless we see a long green flag, as I'm seeing right now, I'm gonna just go off what I'm seeing right now. It's very hard to come through the field. I'm not really seeing anybody just come gangbusters up unless they get a little bit of help, like we saw right there, or somebody slips on the track or what. Just have to wait and see how a good long green flag run happens to see if somebody can make up some spots. I mean, obviously we do have some hard chargers here for the lead up here. Clark, even though Hoosier, I mean, but like I said, we got a couple guys who come through the field. But again, I think it's from a little bit of help from pit stops and so forth, so on. I just think it's going to be tough to come through the field here tonight. Just from way back in 15th, just to instantly come all the way to the front. And the Clark has got those new tires, by the way. Kind of seen them. Now that's probably one of the reasons why. Now that right there, I go back to what I just was talking about here, Caleb. That's probably the only other reason is you're going to have way newer tires. Now you start to see Bell and Moyer. A lot of the guys who pitted, except for Anderson. Still marred back in traffic.
And he's had clean air the entire night, and once you get behind a truck, it feels completely different, especially in the trucks, especially on a track like this. You get behind somebody in the corner, it makes the truck feel like it's a brick, and it is so hard to drive. And albeit he does have those fresh tires, one wrong place truck and you're stuck. There you see the battle between Peterson and Dustin Martin. They're kind of holding him back, but I mean he's starting to work his way through now, so hopefully he'll find his way back up, because he was our pole sitter. He did have a very fast truck in the beginning, albeit it was 12 laps.
What's interesting too, Caleb, we're talking about tires, we're talking about how the trucks are handling, how you come through. What I have noticed, and in a sense, in racing, when you're saving tires, as the run goes on, usually going up the track, usually in the past has been where you say, okay, they're saving the tires, obviously slow way around the track in theory, and it's more momentum, you don't have to be as harsh. But what I have learned since I've changed a lot of the stuff here, especially on iRacing, with the aerodynamics of either the truck or the car or whatnot, I'm talking about trucks right now, is that going up on the high side actually chews the tires up more than it does on the low side. So it's kind of different. And I've heard that the past several weeks from multiple drivers that, the high side is, it seems like it chews the tires up more, or uses the tires up more than it does on the low. And that's kind of curious to see right there, boy. Anderson is like, come on, Dyer, hang on to it, Dave. But yeah, it just seems like being on the low side here recently has been opposite, but it has not always been like that. Usually you'd say, okay, being on the low side is the fast side around the track, but you burn up the tires being down there. But now it's kind of interesting that has changed. Battleback. Hey.
Yeah, and
when Dyer,
I say Dyer is struggling to hang on to that truck right now, and
Dyer needs some tires.
Yeah, and it's just once you put heat into those tires by sliding, it takes a lap or two to get them cooled back down. So not only is he fighting the tires at this point, because like you'll see it kind of snap on him again, you know, depending on how he exits the corner. But I mean, it just kind of takes a minute. That's why you kind of see all these cars pass him now. But you know, going back to what you were saying about how oh, he got really close to him right there. But going back to what
evil loose.
Yeah, and you know, I'm just surprised he's holding on to it. You know, I mean, he's a very talented driver, but you know, he's slid the past 3 laps. You know.
Also, one of the ones that has not pitted, by the way. I mean, so now you're starting to see, because actually, I know you want to get back to the point here in a second, okay, but the top 5 that are the top 5 right now are all the ones who pitted. So this is kind of what we needed to see. How long can we go on these tires? And we're starting to see what a longer run on tires does to these trucks. I mean, even Lane Hoosler right now, who's just falling off. I mean, you can just see how much tires are. Hey, what's up, Kentucky? How you doing out there, Daniel? So, yeah, I mean, your top 5 are all the ones who pitted.
Yeah, and it was the trucks that stayed out. I think they were thinking that it was probably going to be another quick yellow, and you know, we almost did see one in the beginning.
Yeah.
But you know, I can see why they stayed out. You know, it was only 10 laps. But on a track like this, you have 4 extra sets of tires. It is the Clean Racing League. It's a 1.5 miles. We generally don't have a lot of cautions at 1.5 miles. I probably would have pitted. It may have been a case of do the opposite of Anderson, who was the leader at the time. Because, you know, some teams will do that. It's, you know, do the opposite of the leader. You know, as Anderson is passing Hosler there. But, you know, I mean, that's for 6th place. You know, he's lost so many spots, and you know, he's back there now.
You know, you brought up a good point there, Caleb. You know, Clean Racing League, and whether or not how you do your pit strategy. Well, one of the first things I would always think about, especially in this league, it's not going to be a caution. I need to edge it. If there's a caution, great. Helps me out even more. Like what you just said. Usually we just don't see them.
No, on the bigger tracks, we generally don't. And you know, we'll have our close racing, and you know, incidents will happen, kind of like what we saw on the lap 10 incident, where you know, the car got hooked into turn 2. You know, stuff like that happens, but it's not consistent. You know, we do appreciate the hard racing and, you know, contact. You know, kind of like 3-wide racing we've seen with Altus and Hersley on the restart. You know, stuff like that's going to happen, but they're saving it. They're not just breaking their truck. You know, so you know,
testament to talent there.
Yeah, and there's a lot of talent in this league. So you know, 30 trucks deep tonight, and every single one,
by the way, did not make it.
He didn't make the field.
No, he did not start.
Which means Evan Kinney advances to the Best of the Rest Championship next weekend. And he rides. Yeah, so Kentucky asked, where's Chapman? I don't know.
Chapman.
I don't see him. He would be the number 3 truck.
Yeah. Oh.
So, you know, he is one of those uncharted trucks. So, you know, generally we'll see our...
Caution, yellow flag.
Yeah, just in carry around.
Oh, no.
Wow. Yeah, I just saw it. Well, it popped up crash just to carry. It popped up as a thing coming out of pits, actually. Got a feeling that's just cold tires, and he loops it.
Oh, and he knows it.
damage on that tire. Oh, and then folks, that's just, well, probably wrong gear and a lot of cold tire. Happens real easy coming out of pit road.
And this is not what he needed at all. You know, he is minus 12, minus 12 from Altus, but he's minus 6 on the cut line. You know, he's going to have to fight back. You know, but that did bring out a caution. But you know, him nosing into the barrier. You know, what's that going to do for his RPMs? Is he going to have front end damage? You know, what aero damage? What's that gonna do to him and his race now?
Well, you know, okay, since we're under caution, you got a good question out there with Kennett, Kentucky. You know, I talk a lot about, and you know, you hear since we are under caution, I happen to back. I guess what you're asking is to get into iRacing in general. Sim racing in a whole has come a long way, even since I've been in it. It started way back in 2015. iRacing's been a longer. I've been in sim racing for very, very long. But you ask about entry-level setups. Well, these are fixed setups, and iRacing has what they call fixed setups. They are open setups, and actually I do broadcast some truck leagues that are open setups, and believe me, it is a total different ballgame than Caleb and watching. It's a different race.
Hang on.
In a nutshell.
I'm sorry. I think he's talking about equipment.
Right. Well, that's what I'm gonna get to in a second.
Okay.
But in a nutshell, as far as setup wise goes, these are setups here. As far as sim racing setups, let me just give you what I have, because this is probably about as entry level as you can get. Because, well, again, I'm still using the wheel that I bought back in 2015. Okay, so if that gives you any idea, Caleb, I know, has probably got a lot newer stuff, because you can go as low as you want or as high as you want. All right, I mean, you could spend $100,000 if you wanted to. I'm not saying do that, but yeah. But I have what they call is Thrustmaster. Is a 458 when it came out. I don't even know if they make it in. It's a TX model thing. It was a $300 wheel at the time. And you still can get them around about $300. That is kind of what they consider around entry level and so forth. It comes with pedals. Now I did upgrade the pedals to what they was called a Fanatic DLS, which is a load cell style pedal, which I would recommend. But yet even that was an entry level load cell. Okay, there's many other different products out there and so forth. Fanatic, Semicube, the list goes on and on and on. If I had to recommend, it all depends on money. It's almost like talking about computers, okay? I get into this, Caleb, a lot with computers. Look, what's your budget? That's the first and foremost. How much do you want to spend? My whole setup right now, I have a GT Omega wheel stand, button box with my wheel and my pedal. My whole setup's $1,000 probably, okay? That is considered very entry level, all right, kind of entry level. You get into mid-range when you get into probably around the 15 to 2,500 range. High end is obviously well into the 1,000. The reason I say that is because a lot of now it is more affordable because they have what they call Monza, the direct drive wheels and stuff, but you can actually get for around $400 and $500 complete setups. That's what I would recommend now, all right, as opposed to what I even have. But again, all about what you want to spend. Everybody's going to have a different opinion on equipment. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. I know me and Caleb did. We brought it up. The wheel, yes, being important, but I think the most important is having a good set of pedals. If you were going to spend the money right off, get you a good wheel. I would recommend the Monza R5 entry level, but it's going to get you into the direct drive. But if you can't go that route, get you a Logitech, get you a Thrustmaster. Nothing wrong with them. They'll work. You'll be able to come out here and compete with these guys. We're going back green. But real quick, then I would spend the money on a good set of pedals. You're going to spend probably anywhere between $300 to $500 on a good set of pedals. I would get those. and then you would be set. That's how I would entry level myself into sim racing. Again, you're going to get 10 different people, 10 different arguments on it. But as far as entry level stuff goes, I can tell you what I have. It still works to this day. I have videos out there showing me racing it. I actually got one here recently, several months ago. So does it work? Yes. Is it the best? No. There you go. We're back there.
One thing I will say is the pit call on the first stop has gotten a lot of drivers out front that we generally don't see. They got Bryson Clark, Jeremy Moyer, Frank Bell, top 3 right there. They're all fighting for the lead because of the first pit stop call that was made. A lot of people stayed out. So, now you have these playoff drivers that are kind of back there now. Let's see. Altus is minus 17 positions in 24th place right now. He was our points leader because Hosler is already advanced to the next week. So Altus is our next. Oh wow, contact off turn 2 there.
Yeah, racing hard up front.
Yeah, and but these pit stops are really going to determine this race and our championship 4. And unfortunately, we won't have our championship 4 until next week. Sorry, but
yeah, I know, man. Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. I mean, it's going to be a good race. We can kind of a half and half say who's probably going to be a little bit in the final 4, but yeah, you're right. I mean, obviously, if one of those 4 wins, then automatically in. So, just to answer your question, last one there on Kentucky. As far as the internet goes, you don't need a great internet connection. You just need a good one that's going to be stable. As we're under caution again here, Caleb. Bradley Murphy. Fortunate on him. What happened to him? Got a feeling, well, maybe him and Persley, or he just got loose one. Take it. Up just a little bit. And just was there, and they just tried to take the same real estate.
That's fantastic job for right into the wall there, but that was a really good job for everyone not hitting the spinning car in the middle of the racetrack. But while we're under caution, we'll go ahead and shout out our league sponsor. Let me go ahead and get my. We're gonna shout out the league sponsor while we're under caution here. Sports Academy Foundation and Sports Academy Youth Flag Football. They have done amazing this season with sponsoring the league. First time we've had them on board. We've been able to do so many things with the league, broadcast and championship wise, that we kind of haven't been able to do before, thanks to Sports Academy. But if you want to check out Sports Academy, you can go to sportsacademy.us/programs and check out all the programs, including youth flag football. Super amazing. Sports Academy. Also, Grant Designs. A lot of the paint schemes in the field tonight, I know all the high five cars are made by Grant Designs, but also a few unchartered vehicles are made by Grant Designs. So those are our sponsors for the race. One thing I will say, I don't think we're going to see anyone pit here. Because that was a very quick caution. Fuel runs are about 32 to 35 laps, so if we can go green, we may see we definitely will. We will see green flag pit stops, but what we just seen there, early restarts. Everyone's clumped back together. Hopefully this isn't like a cautions breed cautions type scenario where caution comes out, everyone restacks, adrenaline builds again, and then you start seeing these trucks battle very aggressively. I wouldn't say for nothing, but you you kind of see them make aggressive moves, kind of like what we just seen with Pursley and Murphy. Those just two trucks fighting for the same spot on the racetrack, trying to maximize their entry to the corner to gain a position. Not going to say anything bad about the drivers. That was just two drivers racing very hard for position. We should be gridding up here because no one pitted. See if the lights go on pace car. Yeah, so we're gridding up. We're going green this time. Yeah, so so far it's been a very good race. Going into this race, Altus +10 on the cut line, Grant -2 to Altus, Tatum -6 to Grant. Or no, this is to Altus. I'm sorry. You had Altus, Grant, Tatum, and Carey all within 12 points of each other. And we've seen Carey make a green flag pit stop earlier, and on cold tires, spin it, coming off the apron, nosing into the barrier. Very unfortunate. Could kill his championship run. Actually raced his way into the playoffs going into Talladega. So very impressive. Has had a hell of a run coming into the playoffs to make it this far. But we'll see if he can recover. But we're going green here. Pace truck pulls off.
Green.
Clark on the inside and Bell on the outside. A little bit of tire spin from the 89 truck there. Racing into the corner. You got Holzler, who has made an amazing comeback, from the pit stop, that he stayed out on earlier. But, he's back up front, and he's hard charging here. Still 2x2. Holzler on the inside. Oh, kind of drifts up a little bit.
We're back green, huh? Right. Clark
Yeah,
coming up front. Woo!
Yeah, I would say Holzler's made a pretty good comeback here. He's back up front, fighting for the lead. But I mean, look, there's Anderson, 4th place again.
Yeah, he's been able to get back up or muster back up our minis. Cautions have kind of helped him along with the pit strategy. And Hosler, I mean, who knew he'd be up there? He's just out of the blue. Oh, Nathan Brown, right there. Well, we appreciate you, Kentucky. We appreciate all the viewers out there chiming in. And, appreciate Caleb being up here in the booth with me. Appreciate all these guys here at the Clean Racing League want us to do the broadcast. Not only the broadcast taking effort, it takes effort of the drivers on the track. You see it week in and week out, these guys, man, they got some skill. And you can see them getting out here, man, racing right now. And on a tough track. I mean, we said we was going to ride on board here early. Since we just had this, just caution here, Caleb. Let's ride and kind of look and see what these bumps are like. We're riding with Pursley as he's trying to come through the field. He looks pretty smooth right there.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want to be sawing on the wheel at all, especially on a track like this. I mean, you can fight it a little bit, but the moment you start sawing on it, that's where you're going to eat up your right front. You don't want to be doing that.
My bad, go ahead.
And riding on board with, who is this? This is Nate Brown.
See the difference.
So he's hugging the white line. He's going to try to get that corner speed. He's going to tuck in behind the truck in front of him here. But I mean,
he doesn't look too bad off, even though being low like he is. And usually a lot of times that's where you see a little bit of the sawing is being low, because you got to kind of force that truck to hold down there. But it looks pretty smooth.
Yeah, and he was kind of a little bit too low that time. It kind of compromised his exit
Yeah.
speed. He did have Hurley on the outside of him, but he was going anywhere the truck in front of him wasn't.
Yeah.
Looking for the clean air, and that's pretty much what you need, especially on a. I've said it before. I've even said it in this race. These trucks are very aero dependent, so
Oh, yeah.
and so anything that can alter the wind or the aero at all towards the front end of the truck is going to disrupt it. So these trucks that are kind of fanned out across the track, they're just looking for a clean spot where they can get clean air to the front end of their vehicle to where they don't have to push up into the corner. So, it's for the people out there watching that, don't know the terminology or whatever, we call it dirty air. So when you're behind a car, or behind a truck, you have basically deferred air off of the tail end or the spoiler of the truck in front, and it goes straight loose off the turn 2 there.
That's Becker.
Yeah, and those two were teammates. Well, I mean, all three of them right there are teammates.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brown.
Yep, all of them, all the dads.
You must subscribe to them.
Well, when I raced in the Cup League, I raced in their Cup League for.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So I was I got to know them pretty well.
I got you.
So,
I like giving them a hard time. You can see Brown out there with some of his wild paint jobs. I guess Chris, man, said.
one thing I will say real quick. I was talking while you were away.
Oh, this is my bad. That's Jacob Grant. This might be a desperation pass from him.
Well, he's got 21 of Carey behind him, and I don't know if Carey's on the lead lap or not. Let me just look real quick. No, he's not. Okay, then never mind. Then I was talking while you were away under caution. I was talking about our sponsors over at Sports Academy, but I was also talking about how the incident with Justin Carey potentially could have eliminated him from championship contention. And honestly, I thought right there he was on the lead lap. That's why Grant was making his moves he was making. Because he's got another playoff contender behind him. But
Carey
now,
right now showing 25th, and Grant is showing in the 9th. So maybe what would be the math on that? Would that put Grant ahead of him by just, let's say, points without all the other? I would say it would.
So Carey came into this race last in the drivers that are here, and he was below the cutoff. He is last in this race between all the playoff drivers. Oh, contact off of turn 2.
Yeah, I see that. That's Kyle Payne.
Oh, big
and
wreck.
Another one. Yeah. Ow. James Rayburn involved with it, and go back and see what happened. Probably just two trucks, man, trying to take that real estate again. We've seen it all night long. Well, he got in the wall, just ricocheted right off. Nothing he could do there from that point on. Boom.
And then, I mean, there was Dusty Martin there too. I mean, that was, to my knowledge, we're still green.
We are, because they stayed off the racing surface. That's another good point there. I thought to say it, yeah, we stayed green on that one. That's surprising.
Yeah, so Holzler, he was making a run for the lead when we went back green. He has fallen back to 5th. We've kind of seen this before. Oh, wow, kind of got a little squirrely coming off turn 2 there. Turn 2 has been a big problem this race for these drivers. And that's kind of where the root cause of most of our wrecks have happened. And, earlier when I was talking about, when I was running the practice laps, turn 2 was a problem area. I kind of brought up that wall runs up on you quick. But, these past few weeks, we've seen the 61 truck of Lane Holzler kind of fall back in most of these races. He's kind of, in the races he's not leading, we've kind of seen him fall back, and we've seen him save. And, he's saving his tires. So we see him save, and then in the closing laps of a stint or something, we'll see him go. So either he's back and he's saving, or he burned up his stuff when he was going for the lead. Which, I mean, but here's the thing, we don't know with the 61 truck. It's so hard to tell, looking on his in-car, what he's doing.
Yeah,
Because it looks so similar to what another driver who's doing something completely different, it's what it looks like. So it's super difficult to tell, but I guess
right
we'll
here,
find out.
Around 10. The Altus, he's able to get up to 9th place, so able to bounce back from that near disaster early on, as the pit stops has worked out his way, and actually a newer set of tires from a lot of the other one. But this battle here, Becker, Dyer, in company with Jacob Grant. Jacob Grant, I think, is in desperation mode, like what you were talking about earlier. And boom! Almost got in the back of Dyer. That could have been end of it right there. As you said, I think, Dyer, I don't think it was anything he did wrong. He just truck just got awful tight, and then it snapped loose a little bit, and Grant was just there.
Yeah, we're 64 laps in this race, and everyone's last pit lap was lap 36. So we're coming up on 20 lap stint here on the tires for all these drivers, and if my numbers are right, generally they are, not too long, but the fuel run is 32 to 35 laps. So there is a chance, we have seen cautions kind of break up the flow of the race. But it's 32 to 35 laps, maybe even 38 if you're saving. But I really don't know why you would save right now. I really, really don't, especially on a track like this. Because you're only going to hurt yourself. It's kind of like what we see when everyone stayed out. Oh, wow, we got 2 cars on the apron. Are they pitting? Yeah, they're pitting. Okay. Wow, that got a little hairy there. They were like Crank Bell was sideways on the apron, trying to get down pit road.
Yeah, I saw that back there in the back. What's that again?
It was Crank Bell in the 14. Now
pit
we have
road right now.
Yeah, now we have Anderson. We have Anderson and Clark coming down pit road. So pit stops have kind of happened a little early. So, it is a 125 lap race. So, they I think what they're doing is they're splitting the run in half.
That's
so
what it
now
was.
they
He came on pit road and he almost cut sideways.
Yeah, amazing job, not losing. Oh, wow. Personally, almost losing on pit road.
And they're back out of pit road and they're going 4 wide. Good night.
Yeah. And,
Wild racing here.
I would say Peterson kind of almost losing the back end there. But, we have everyone pitting now. And it is currently lap 68. We're going on 69. Now that they've pitted, they only have to pit one more time. So they've gotten the green light to where if they pit, they only need to pit one more time. So now we've seen a complete shift in the strategy, and
you can see the back here in the back, and you see guys on new tires, old tires. Yeah, that's why it's kind of jumbled up just a little bit. Grant right there along with it. Kind of see what he's doing.
Yeah, well, these drivers need to be careful what they're doing. Going, let's say there's Grant coming up quick, but look at all these slow trucks.
Yeah, and a lot of them, like you said, that like Fred, unfortunately, right there in the mix of that, because he put in lap 36. Nothing he can do is hold his line and hope these guys with these newer tires. You see how much faster they are. And you sometimes that sense of speed, you just don't realize how fast you are, and then
they're
there
wrecking.
you go. Yep,
Yellow flag.
that's.
Oh,
We kind of just saw that one happening. Who that was? Oh, that was Ghost. Ghost couldn't get invisible enough, but let's go back and watch. Oh, tail end there's find it. The loose 20. Looked like he might have got loose coming off the turn and just couldn't get it corrected. Unfortunately, Ghost might have been there, and then from that point on, boom. Just we've seen it all night long. This track just loose off.
yeah, and that is what we loved. Not the wreck. Hang on, let me go ahead and point this
Everybody
out.
loves wrecking.
We don't like seeing wrecks, right? At least I don't.
Speak for yourself.
Well, okay. Well,
All right, let's take a poll out
I-
there. Who comes to the races to see the wrecks? I know it's an old thing that they used. I just come to NASCAR to see the wrecks. That's an old thing back in the day. Everybody used to always say, "I'm coming just to see the wrecks." They used to say that. I'm telling you, Caleb. They used to say that.
oh no,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. What's
The thing with it is, albeit that racing was amazing, and seeing the new tires and the old tires kind of, literally they all came together, and they called each other at the same time. You know, the cold tires are backing up to the new tires, and the new tires, they come together. It was bound to happen. It's very unfortunate that it happened the way it did, but it was bound to happen just because the speed difference, the speed differential between the the old tires and the new tires is what, 2 seconds?
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah.
It's, I mean, you're talking like 10, 15 miles an hour difference in the corner. That's massive. Maybe not that drastic, but definitely 10 miles an hour difference.
Yeah.
I mean, that's massive, especially when you are ripping through the corner, and then you have this car that feels like it's at a stop sign in the middle of it. I'm not saying that the people in the cold tires did anything wrong. I'm not saying the people on the new tires did anything wrong. It's
I
just
like
part of the
seeing that
race.
side-by-side racing like that. I like hard racing like that. It makes it exciting. And we've seen that in the past, too. I mean, that's why we call it the Clean Racing League, and a lot of these guys are able to handle that and get through that just fine. I mean, I agree with you what you're saying. You in the back of your mind, you're like, okay, it's bound to happen. They're going to wreck. We have seen them sometimes pull through that.
Yeah, and Matthew Dyer last pitted on lap 46. He is currently our leader at the moment.
Yeah, he pitted it.
I don't. Yeah,
He should have stayed out. I don't think he should have. I think it's a bad move. I mean, I know what he's doing. Maybe to get some bonus points or something, but he's going to drop like a rock.
Here, I'll just because they were talking about it in our chat earlier.
What's that?
When I was racing in this league, man, like I think it was like 5 seasons ago, 6 seasons ago. When I was racing, oh no,
you did you're talking about full time.
Yeah, when I was racing like off and on, I didn't race enough to like be part of the championship, but I was still racing more than I was when I was just racing the road courses. I remember one of my first races. It was my first race in clean racing. It was at this track.
Way to step in.
I was lined up behind my dad, Chris Smith, in the 5 truck, and man, he just ate it. Like he stayed out on old tires, had it in second gear, and just spun it and took out like half the field. and that was my introduction to clean racing. I was getting wiped out on like lap 18.
Well, on the reverse of that, he's actually starting 8th right now, so doing pretty good.
Yeah, he's plus 14, but you know, that was yeah, everyone kind of dug into him that night, so it's kind of funny.
Now he's the owner and doing an outstanding job as we go back green here at Clean Racing League. You see Matthew Dyer, it's going to be a matter of time. He's just going to get passed by a multitude of trucks here. Hopefully he can hold it down and all these guys can get right back by him. But, you know, just speaking on Chris Smith's part, he took over the helms a couple seasons ago from Fred and has done an outstanding job. And we got a lot of great things coming next season. Maybe we'll speak some more of that maybe on next week, whatnot. But, you know, a lot of great things coming there. A lot of things have happened this season, you know, with the chase, the point system, the best of the best, like what you mentioned earlier, really racing in the back there. So a lot of great things have happened, and a lot of great things have come about here at the Clean Racing League. And Caleb, man, hey, I'm glad you're up here in the booth with me because you're getting to see how this thing unfolds here at the Clean Racing League. We've got it back there. Wow. Actually back where Crank Bell is. Actually. Persley.
No, I say he was, wow.
Oh, that's where yeah. That's that closing speed you were talking about earlier. That just shows you right there. Wow.
That is 30 lap difference in tires. And you seen how quick he caught up to the back of the 95 truck. I mean, it is crazy, the speed difference. And he lost probably 0.7 of a second right there just because of that.
Ooh,
oh wow,
hang on to
tires.
it. Yeah, he got loose, and good job by Dyer right there. Was that Dyer?
Yeah, that was Dyer on the apron.
Good job by him holding on to that machine. Persley and company's coming up through the field, but yeah, my hat's off to Chris Smith here. Did a shot, man. Look at his truck out here with the clean. There you go, cleanracingleague.com. Go check it out. Get you up to speed and everything that's going on. Yeah, I just got to give him credit there, Caleb. You know, and what he's done here, taking over the horns from you know, Frederick, and just what he's done to bring the Clean Racing League to what it is now, with the drivers out here, with the programs that they've got going, with the sponsor that they've got out here. It is it is awesome, the racing that they bring on the field. I mean, I could sit up here and talk about it for a while, but you know, the product speaks for itself week in and week out. You said earlier you don't see a lot of cautions. I refer to it as, hey, it's the Clean Racing League. It's in their name, you know. Sure, are they some bad races, there's some bad tracks, absolutely, but it's there, and the product speaks.
Yeah, you know, the increase in you know, driver count and, you know, just this season, because, you know, last season the numbers were, you know, still where they were, you know, a few seasons ago. But this season, the amount of new drivers we've seen, you know, we've had the charter system implemented really close on the exit out corner right there for one of those drivers. I think that was Tatum.
I like it.
But
also,
yeah.
we got Jacob Grant caught himself a lap down, so that's a change in what we were talking about earlier in the race, because now Justin Carey is on the lead lap, and he's in 10th, and Grant's in 15th, so that points battle for that cutoff, wow, it's flipping back and forth.
Yeah, and, you know, nothing is guaranteed in racing at all.
No.
You know,
Earlier, Grant would have been like a shoe-in, I think, to get in by where he was, you know, calculation-wise. But now, man, Caleb, he's now again outside looking in.
yeah, and I think
Who was that?
I think it's close on points. I don't know who that is. I know it's gonna be close on points, but is it the 86 truck? No. It was.
I'll find it where my dad. 86. Right.
Was it? was the 85 truck the same one that was Becker, the same one that got to Ghost, that brought up that last caution?
Mountain Dew one. Mountain Dew one. He got a little loose. Fortunately, he got it gathered up there. We saw it a little bit early. You know, just what you was talking about on points wise. I mean, this is a real shake up here because, you know, now with Grant where he's at, being the first one a lap down, he needs a caution to get back on that lead lap because Justin Carey is up to 9th place spot.
Yeah, and you know, 2 more playoff guys, you know, that we're looking at right now, Altus and Holzler. You know, the position that both of these guys are in, they're racing for a championship next season. You know, I know Altus doesn't like when we bring this up, but you remember 2 seasons ago when Altus was racing for the championship and lost it in the final corner.
Yeah.
You know, patience is going to take him to the championship right here.
I got to ask a real quick question. Do you think Hoosler's having nightmares of last season going, if this was for the championship, you got to be kidding me? Because this is a battle for the...
Yes, this is a battle for the lead.
Hoosler would be going, no way.
But, you know, it's not. And I don't think Holzler is even worried about this race at all. You know, he's already locked in. I'm sure he's already started practicing for Homestead next week. So, you know, he's just out here seeing if he can get another win on an already dominant season. But yeah, I mean, it's if Altus can bring this home and, you know, get that momentum going into next week, you know,
it's got to play in the back of the mind of Hosler because he was dominant last season, dominant going into the Homestead, but that caution at the end of how everything changed. And for the people out there that don't know, the reason I bring it up like this is kind of like what it was last season. Altus came up there and Hosler was dominant, looking to be the champ and win that race. But the outcome was Altus won the race. And
yeah, and you know, as we sit right now, we are needed one more pit stop for tonight. You know, I think this is going to be one of our longer races on the season. You know, racing wise, you know, IRP doesn't count.
That one gave you nightmares, didn't it?
Yeah, that anytime I see a caution, I just think of IRP, and I'm like, oh, not again.
Moyer though, man, look out here because you know, Jeremy Moyer is closing in on these guys up here. Look at the last lap times. He ran a 48. Hosler ran a 47.54. So I mean, they're all running about identical, but he's closing in a little bit on these guys.
Yeah, and you know, 35 laps to go. You know, what does he have in the tank? You know, to challenge these guys. You know, he's not battling for a championship. He's not in the playoffs. You know, what does he have to potentially take a win away from 2 championship contenders?
You know, Altus would love to win the race so that he knows, hey, look, I punched my ticket. Without having points. I mean, which, obviously, if Altus stays where he is right now, he's in the Final Four. We can safely say that, just by on points alone. But it would be, you know, even better if he did win. So Altus out of these 3 are probably the one that really would like to win. Now, as I say that, like you said, Moyer, he just would like to have something that would go into the next season as momentum. I want to win, showing that, hey, look, I do have the truck. I do have that confidence. Get up here and race with these top guys week in and week out. And can I win? Can I be competitive? I think a lot of that there, Caleb, is the psyche of drivers. Can you be competitive? You know, you come out here week in and week out, and you just, sometimes as a driver, it seems like you just can't get up there. You can't get nothing going. You're always just mediocre in the back. I mean, I don't want to say that about the driver, but you know, you just seems like you get caught up into the problems here and there, and just never can get up front. And at what point, you know, that as a driver, that breaks down on your psyche here as you see the battle for second. So you've got to break through that mental thing. So I think racing is a mental thing also.
Oh, it definitely is a mental thing, and you know, just real quick, you know, you seen Altus get sideways coming off a turn 4. You know, he needs to be careful. I think he burned his tires up trying to challenge the 61 truck. You know, this goes back to, you know, you don't want to throw it away. As long as you finish where you're at, you're locked into the championship. Don't throw it away. So, but you know, going back to what you were saying, it definitely is a mental thing. You know, going into these races, you know, you have a string of bad races. I know when I was racing, you'd have a string of bad races, and it get to you. You know, you go into these races, you're like, I'm pretty good at this track, 17. Oh, I'm decent at this track, 21st.
Oh.
And then you go into another track and you finish 4th, and you're like, all right,
Ooh,
we're good.
Altus just blinked, and he's not coming back. Uh-oh. This happens. Wait a minute. We could just go from him being in this thing to...
Oh, he's gone.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Is there a possibility that he could not make the Final Four? Mathematically.
Yes. Is Carey's on the lead lap? Yes, there's definitely a chance he could not make the Final Four here. This is...
It's something we're going to have to keep, yeah, because, folks, I'm sorry to cut you off there, Caleb, but we were just talking, and he's sitting there where he was, where he needed to be, because Grant just went... Okay, he's back now.
He's back, but he's behind Grant.
Behind Grant, yep. He's a lap down, a couple laps now. He's behind Tracks. He's falling.
Oh, no, hold on. He pitted.
No, he blinked. He went out. It might have put him in the pits. No, he didn't pit. No. At no point did he go in. I mean, it says he left the pits, but go back here because it showed him blink. Back in.
No, I think we had it wrong because it says his pit lap is 95. Because his pit lap is 95, and he did the full 14 points, whatever second pit stop.
If it is, he pitted by. No, see, okay, I just went back to when him entering the pits. You see right there, it's not showing him up. Yeah, he's blinking. Look right there. I just went back. He blinked, and then it brought him down on pit road. Okay.
Okay.
So you can see it right there. We went back live with him, but so he blinked on the track, and then it went back. He went down on pit road. Now it's got him back in 11. Well, this is confusing. Now it's got him back on the lead lap in 11. But I think a lot of other people pin it. Wow. Talk about. Oh. Give me heartburn, man, before it's over with, Caleb.
One of the rules of the league. is you can't go back. Whatever iRacing determines is what iRacing. That's what we go with. So if iRacing issues a black flag, that's a black flag. You know. So basically, if something were to happen to Altus, whether he blink or disappear, reappear, finish the lap down, that's where he's going to finish. So, you know, we're under yellow here.
Yes, we are.
I seen the light on the track.
Lights on the track and just spun. Probably just like a little quick spin. Of me. Of me. There's the trucks coming. Shouldn't, but.
Well, there's smoke right there.
Like Eric Anderson. Got him.
Yeah.
Oh, 21.
Oh,
Chris
no, it's
Smith.
Carey again.
Who?
No, look, it's the 21. Carey again.
Oh, got in the back of Pursley. Wow.
Oh man, sorry. Wow, so that one was no fault of his own. Like that. Wow.
Two trucks been right there, just got slammed up a little bit together. Let's see if we can't make some headway on this situation here, because I'm going to say, as of right now, Joshua Altus has dodged a major bullet. A major one. He blinked, folks. And by what iRacing did, it put him a lap down, several laps down. But he was pitting at the time, or came in on pit. And then when he came back out, he's back on the lead lap. So that to me is dodging a bullet. Okay, it's hey, look, I got my 4-leaf clover right here, because of right now it's showing him 7. Because if he would have stayed like it was beforehand, he would have been way back here in about 20th spot, 22nd spot, in very much danger of not making the final 4. Unusual. Hey, we are on a virtual world. Anything can happen. I've seen wilder stuff. Just crazy turn of events there.
Yeah, and you know, for the 4 drivers that are battling for the 3 spots here, I mean, with the exception of Tatum, we really haven't talked about Tatum a lot tonight.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, he's up to 3rd. He's been kind of quiet.
so he's had a very quiet night, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, but Altus with the blink, you know, going a lap down, you know, but he pitted, so I think it balanced out. You know, Jacob Grant, you know, going a lap down because of the wreck, you know, with the pit cycle.
Let me ask you a
Almost
quick
getting
question there,
involved.
Caleb, before you get that. He pitted on a green flag. Even though he pitted on a green flag, he should have still went a lap down.
Who?
Altus. Pitting on a
So
green flag pit stop, he should have still went a lap down on a green flag pit stop, because Lane Hoosler didn't pit.
So
he got a, like I say, he got a huge wish there, because theoretically, even if he wouldn't have blinked and would have just came on pit road, he would have won a lap down no matter what, because, well, you only got, what, a 14-second pit stop, but you've got a 44-second total pit time. We're running 30-second times on this track. He would have won a lap down no matter what. So to get that lap automatically back by coming back out of the pits is like, wow. I don't know how that that's a crazy turn of events.
I think he had enough time to get his lap back. Because
There's no way. There was no way.
I mean,
He was behind.
Going.
He was in 3rd or 4th place. Okay, he was in 3rd or 4th place when he pitted. At 3rd or 4th place, Lane Hoosler didn't pit under green flag. Under a green flag pit stop, you're going to go a lap down. See what I'm saying? Now, you might not be that far, but then, unless those guys in front pitted, which they didn't, because Lane just pitted under this caution as we go back green. He just pitted under this caution, so he stayed out. Altus dodged the bullet. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I ain't questioning it. But it's, hey, that's some good luck.
Yeah, and you know,
sometimes you gotta have it.
Yeah, you definitely gotta have it, you know, and you know, he's lucky that he does, because you know, if he blinked and stayed out of it, he wouldn't be racing for a championship. You know, and the race is not over. Anything can happen. But you know, we got some close racing. Half of the field was on the inside lane, coming to the restart.
Look at Fred. I'm sorry. I get excited when I see Fred up there.
No, I understand.
See, there's Altus blinking again. Well, Fred's blinking. I'm just... I don't ever get back to it. Maybe iRacing's having some problems?
Well, earlier, when Altus and Percy were three wide, low side, middle, and they were on the restart, and Altus kind of tapped Persley, and he kind of went to the inside
Yeah,
to the apron.
yeah,
There wasn't contact made. There was kind of a bubble.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
you know,
Got the net
and
code thing. I mean,
yeah. So, but maybe we're having some connection issues around the 94 truck. Maybe that's why he's blinking. So
might have to, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on, but he's definitely coming up. Altus right now is there with it. Carey's doing everything he can. I mean, he's doing what he can to try to stay and get into that final four here. We got Kenny up here, though, who's been quiet all night long, along with Ross Tatum, like you mentioned there a little bit. Those two guys have just not been there, but hey, end of the race here. They said it's time to go. And you look at him, man. Kenny's here, third, and you got second place with Tatum. Obviously, Hosler man out front. Look at Justin Carey, man, eating the back door of these drivers up, though.
yeah, and he's like right on it. But like he has won a race this season, and he drove his way up through Kenny did. I believe it was Iowa. Yeah, Iowa. 2 races ago where he drove his way back to the front. But I think we're riding on board with who is
Carey.
this? It was Carey, right? Yeah. So Carey's going to need a really good points night. If he can sneak a win, this will absolutely change the shape of the whole championship. Because I mean, in order for him to advance, something is going to have to happen to the 6 truck of Grant, the 94 of Altus, or the 91.
Grant's on pit road.
Grant is on pit road.
Wow.
Why
And this is
Grant
what
on-
I'm talking. I don't.
Uh-oh.
Well, he's taking 4 tires for some reason. But this is what I'm talking about. Lane Hosler, Grant just did on pit road, and Grant's now probably several laps down. But go a lap down, the green flag stops. That's what I'm saying earlier with Altus. Whether he would have blinked or not, he would have still went a lap down by pitting on a green flag. And for him to come back out, because it did show him a lap down while he was on pit road. But then when he came back out, it flipped him right back up to 11th side. Who knows? Who knows? Wild one there. But hey, he'll take it. He's up to 6. I'm with you. And Tatum run down Hosler. I mean, it's been, not many people have been able to battle past old Lane all season. Tatum's been one that we've seen be able to put some speed up here.
There's a truck in the infield.
That was Eric Anderson.
Okay. Justin Carey has 15 points on Jacob Grant right now.
There's your Eric Anderson, but
I don't know what he's doing.
been on pit road. Watch it look for the back. Lost it.
Oh yeah, just lock the rears. Okay. All right. I was just okay. So that was the replay.
Yeah, I was just showing
Okay,
the replay
so-
there. I was finding it for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought he had done it again.
No,
Oh.
no, my bad.
No, that's all good. Yeah, so Justin Carey, 14 points to the good of Jacob Grant. So he's got 14 positions on him, which is 14 points, which can completely change. You got Nathan Brown battling him right now, which could be a position. Jacob Grant's gonna have fresh tires. He's gonna fight his way through the field. He's got Ghost, Bell, Clark, Murphy, Turner. These are all lap down cars he's gonna be fighting to get more points. Jacob Grant is.
Yeah, he's back in 18th. He's got to get up to 13th with Paul Turner, who is the first one a lap down right now. But the problem is the distance between them is 15 seconds.
Yeah, and that's
He needs a
that's
caution.
massive.
He needs a call.
Yeah.
I think at this point, he's going to need something to help him out.
Yeah, and we're 10 to go here, so like something is going to happen in this race as we have Kenny and Tatum battling here, Hosler in front, and you have Brown and Carey battling for fourth. So, you know, top 5 all within, you know, a corner of each other. So, you know,
You know, I'm
Kerry's
getting
just
that.
gonna
I
have
think Kerry mixed up with Smith. Didn't Smith used to run the 21?
no.
Oh, Chris
Used
at
to
one
run
time used to run 21.
um,
At one
55,
season, didn't he
14,
run 21?
no, 15, no, 14, 55, and now he runs the 5.
Okay.
So,
But look,
I,
hey, you know what? I'm sorry. Okay, look at this. Wow.
yeah, and you know, this is I think this is gonna get a little crazy here. You know, as long as they don't wreck each other, I think we're gonna have a really good finish here.
Yes, we are. I mean, how much does Lane push this envelope? He's already in it. He doesn't really need to win, so he's really got nothing to lose here at this point. Tatum wants to win this thing. Kenny's up here saying, look, guys, I got nothing to lose either. I just want to put this thing in victory lane. We got a 3-truck battle. Don't count out, though, Justin Carey back there, because he wants to punch his ticket into the Final Four. He could get up here and win this thing. Nathan Brown, if these guys get up here battling hard, you see Tatum right there on the inside. He got a little loose. It's coming down to the wire here, Caleb.
Yeah, it definitely is. And you know, if I'm Tatum right now, you know, you've given up your high side, which is where your run's gonna come from. Do you see? Because look at the run. Kenny's getting off the corner. Is he gonna force it? No, he's not gonna force it. So now Tatum's got to slot in behind.
Pushing.
Yeah, I mean, Kenny. This is what Kenny does best. You know, he did it at Iowa. He's looking to do it again here at Atlanta. Oh wow!
Pass in the grass.
Yeah, and you know, this isn't F1. This isn't F1. He's not required to give the place back. So you know, yep, they're gonna keep on racing. But you know, now he's in the same. Now he's in the same situation 91 at Tatum's in. You know,
I just don't think he's got the better track position there. That inside lane just looks too loose. I don't know if he's gonna be able to get it done.
If he can get his truck back up to the high side, which is where he runs the best, I do believe he'll have a shot here. But you know, you kind of see the truck starting to wiggle a little bit. You know, now he's got Tatum to his outside. You know, you got your playoff drivers on the outside. You got your best of the rest. You know, on the inside. So you know, these drivers.
Wow! Look at that thing. I mean, that's wicked. Listen, I got to ride on board with Caleb. That I think that inside lane, he is just barely hanging on to it there. And look at that. Yeah, he is. He's dirt tracking it.
You know, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, they're a little more sideways than that, but I mean, he's definitely getting there. You know, now, you know, he's backing up a little bit, so I wonder if he's going to try to get a run off the corner. You know,
got a couple laps to go to get it done. Ford here tonight. Lane's looking to punch his ticket in victory lane. Tatum is wanting to try to steal it from him. Kenny's back here. You got Kerry lurking going, what you guys do? I still got time to get up here. Nathan Brown's having a good run. Joshua Altus, I think he's just at the point right now, look, I just want to get out of here, get that Final Four, think about next week. Moyer's there with him. And look at Fred Garcia. Got to give a shout out to that man up in the 8th place spot. Bob Stevens also another good darn run by him. He's up 15. And then Kevin Baker, he rounds out the top 10. As Baker has just been, Baker's in that Mountain Dew machine, I believe. And he's the one that truck's been evil.
So Grant is now back on lead lap. But he is still 11 positions back from Justin Carey. So that's 11 points. But you know, 2 laps to go. If my telemetry is right, 2 laps to go, right?
Yep.
2 laps to go. Yeah. So I mean, we're gonna have to see a superhero-like run from the 97 or 91 to try and get around.
Up.
You know, I don't know.
I don't see that, but I'm just saying he would have to. White flag one more time.
So I'm very interested to see what the 91's going to do here. Does he send it, or wow?
I just said if Kerry messes up, and guess what? He about did.
What happened?
He almost got loose, got off the turn, and we got a battle up front. Tatum got around Lane coming into turn 4, folks. Evan Kinney's here with it. Lane Hosler, man, drops it back into third. But Ross Tatum is going to come up here and win this thing with Evan Kinney. Hosler's going to come back here in third. Nathan Brown in fourth. What's that?
We gotta rewind. I gotta see what happened for the path to the lead and the Justin Carey situation.
Go back and run it back here to the white flag here. One more time, and we'll ride here with Ross Tatum. Go back to watch what happened on part there, because it was right about the same time. He just got a little loose coming off, but we're just recapping here. Lane just got high on the wall. I mean, he just got high up there and got in the wall. That's an unusual mistake that we'd ever see by Lane, him to get into the wall like that. Wow. Let's go back here. You talked about Justin Carey. Go back on the white flag here with him. I got a feeling. Oh, just got in the wall right there. There you go.
Yeah, and
he almost. You know, we talked about it. We just said it a minute ago. There, he almost. I said he had to mess up. He almost did.
Yeah, and you know, I don't. That's definitely not going to help his championship hopes. You know, Tatum burning him down.
after 4 to 5 laps in the run. So I'm not really sure.